My name is James Rowlands. In 2015, I teamed up with my friend Dan White to create the WNR podcast. Since then, we have been giving you everything that's happened on the WWE Network. Now, in 2018, not only are we live for the Big Four events and every NXT takeover, but we celebrate 20 years since the birth of the Attitude Era. Plus, every month we'll bring you 205 Live, collections, new content, W pay-per-views and latest news on the WWE Network. Until we've watched everything, we are with you, and we are the WNR. Yes, hello, I am James Rowlands, and as always I'm joined by
Dan White.
And today it's the WNR164. On this day, June 28th, 20 years ago, it was the WWE King of the Ring pay-per-view, and that's what we're going to watch on this episode. But before we do anything, it's alternate intros, and we do this every week, and we've been doing kid shows recently, apart from the live shows in the NXT takeover event where we had something very special for that. But this one we go back to children's shows. Postman Pat and his black and white cat. Early in the morning, just as day is dawning, he picks up all the post bags in his van. Postman Pat and his black and white cat. All the birds are singing, and the day is just beginning. Pat feels he's a really happy man. Everybody knows his bright red van. All his friends will smile as he waves to greet them. Maybe. You can never be sure. There'll be a knock, ring, let us through your door. Yeah, I always felt that was quite intimidating, really, that Postman Pat song was your door. You know what I mean?
That's what postmen do. They put letters through your door.
Oh, letters.
Not let us.
Oh, fucking hell. I thought it was like, let us through, just let me in. I want to
have sex with you against your will. Enzo Amore.
Yeah. I mean, he's back now, isn't he? Have you seen the new rap album, everything that he's got? He's having a go at Big Cass, and it's great. I'm trying to get him to guest on the WNR podcast. Wouldn't it be fantastic if we can get the real one as a guest here, Dan? Wouldn't you
He wouldn't make it out of this room alive. I would break my fist, punch him in the face. I would rip his arm off and beat him with the bloody fucking stump. I would rip his head off, shit down his neck, sew his head back on so he can eat his own shit made of my shit and his shit.
But Postman Pat is a really happy man. So that was Postman Pat. I mean, that was one of my favourite shows as a child. I don't know why I liked it so much when it was a show just about a postman. But hey, Fireman Sam worked, didn't it? And maybe that'll be next week's alternate intro. But what's the real intro, Dan?
In 1998, WWE and WCW were locked in a ratings war. Their shows Raw and Nitro went head-to-head on Mondays. The WNR podcast goes back 20 years right in the middle of the battle. We've followed the war since the inception of Nitro, but now with the Attitude Era in full swing and WCW still at its peak, it's the perfect time to follow the month. This is WWE versus WCW, the Monday Night Wars, June 1998.
So yes, indeed, we're going to watch King of the Ring 1998 at pay-per-view, and usually we watch all the Raws and all the Nitros leading up to this. But unfortunately, June's been a bit of a weird month for us, due to me actually taking some time off for the first time since we started the podcast. So what we're going to do, we're just going to watch a pay-per-view this month, and then next month we'll come back and we'll give you like a kind of right in your face kind of 2-month look back at WCW and WWE. So we're still going to continue doing it, but of course, like I said, we've given you quite a lot this month. The Punk specials, we've had the live shows, Money in the Bank, and of course now this on this day in history. It's the first time we've ever done this. So, you know, if we look back 20 years at this event, where were you 20 years ago, and what were you doing? Were you a wrestling fan back then?
I was 12 years old. I was probably watching wrestling in some form or another. Probably not as regular as I do now. Not long been in secondary school, so I was probably finding my feet. I was in year 8 at school.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just getting on with my life, really, playing football a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same as me, really. It was just at school. Wasn't really into wrestling. It would be January 99 that I started really watching it. But this was an event, I mean, after it would happen, you would see this clip even now, you know. And I think in the 50 OMG moments that they had, and it is available on the WWE Network on the Beyond the Ring section, this is number one. So what we'll do now is watch the opening promo.
The premonition.
This, Kane, is your destiny. A first blood match.
The prophecy.
No force on earth can stop destiny. Not even Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Wwekotr 16.
I've bled before. I ain't afraid to bleed again. You big dead ass belongs to Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Revelation.
If he does not become the World Wrestling Federation champion,
I will set myself the breaking.
I am the Lord of Darkness. I am the Reaper of wayward souls.
The son of mankind.
Melting his skull off the steel cage. Dropping parts of my body in order to ruin him.
Hell on earth.
What he calls hell, I call home because I'm going to love every minute of it.
Dear God, have mercy on their souls.
I've seen King of the Ring 1998 maybe as many times as I've seen any pay-per-view. I mean, it must be up there on the list. I mean, this is there with Fully Loaded 99 and WrestleMania 17 in just kind of how many times I watched it. And we're going to find out, you know, if it is just a one-match show. And we've got the King of the Ring tournament, of course. We've got Mankind versus The Undertaker and Kane versus Austin for the WWF title in the first blood match. Now, the build-up to this, what we just seen in the promo, Kane has spoken for the first time with the voice box and basically said he's going to set himself on fire if he doesn't win. Do you think that's a bit of an overreaction, Dan?
It is, yes, but you know, it's just like when you lose something or other, you do normally threaten to set yourself on fire. So
yeah, but I find cutting yourself is a lot easier. But this is at Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, for King of the Ring. We see the Olimus Hell in a Cell hanging above the ring, and of course, let's not forget, you know, Mankind's facing the Undertaker, but he has been facing Stone Cold Steve Austin these past couple of pay-per-views. Austin, of course, won the WWF Championship WrestleMania 14 against Michaels, and he's been thorn, it would be a massive understatement, in Mr. McMahon's side. So now McMahon thinks putting a monster like Kane, the title reign will come to an end, and we're going to find out tonight. And we've got JR and the King on commentary. And again, I don't think that would pass the health and safety test now.
what's that, having a big tub of gasoline sat on your desk?
Yeah, there's two tubs. There's one next to the King, one next to JR. And as it introduced us, because I guess that's what Kane will use later. But I'm just glad neither of them smoke at this moment in time, because you'll go up in a big puff. And we hear the music. Here comes the Headbangers.
So yes, this is a 6-man tag team match. It is the Headbangers, Mosh and Thrasher, with Taka Michinoku going against Kai and Tai, which is one of our favourite teams. It's Funaki, Men's T.O. and Dick To Go.
Dick Togo, I think you'll find his name. But yeah, Taka's teaming up now with the Headbangers. He had association with Bradshaw, and that really didn't end well. And the Headbangers, I mean, you got to respect the Headbangers. They were NWA Tag Team Champions 2 months ago, God damn it. So if you can reach that pinnacle in wrestling. Oh, and Taka's
got a skirt on, and real men wear skirts.
Yeah,
if you didn't know.
He's a mini Headbanger. And here comes Tai and Tai. Or Kai and Tai. However you want to pronounce them.
Kai and Tai.
And even the set coming out of here, I mean, that for a very long time. On a lot of games that I played as well. I mean, Yamaguchi's son bringing them out. So, out of all the members of Kane, I guess you're most impressed by Dick, aren't you?
Well, Dick does stand tall as part of Kaientai.
Do you know Dick takes my breath away? When I see him sometimes, I honestly can't be in the ring.
No, my favourite has got to be the SmackDown's number one announcer, Funaki.
A man still employed with WWE to this day. And do you know, well, you will know, Dan, but everybody listening, Funaki, very close friend with Shawn Michaels. And I've always thought that was quite a weird friendship. Like, how did they become friends? But obviously, I guess over time and maybe just a respect for one another. But we're going to start this action with a 6-man tag team match. And of course, we will have a 5-point system for this one here, but we'll just mark it as a standard pay-per-view. I think that would be fair. So here we go. It's a nice tilt world backbreaker there by Thrasher. And there's a few Taker chants as Thrasher hits Randy Orton's power slam there. Now tags in Mosh. Mosh in, second rope. No drop kick to Men's.
Men's gone down. That's some really skinny legs.
I know. Fucked up, isn't it? I think all the fucking tires I have. We'll talk about that.
Oh, in comes Funaki.
But gets caught there by Mosh.
Lovely power slam. Lovely spine buster, sorry.
The power bomb there by Mosh after the Hurricane Runner attempt.
And the 3-man team of the Headbangers and Taka are certainly running strong over these much smaller competitors of Kaientai.
Well, I think for Kaientai they just have to not get beaten. Early going.
Wow.
And now Taka in, sending for Nucky against the turnbuckle.
And he's still got his hoodie on. Very impressive for in a wrestling ring.
Always found it, when Scott Short, he kept his lid on. Always like that.
Yeah. It's just like Bobby Lashley nowadays, keeping his sweatband on.
Yeah. Taka takes Funaki out. And a beautiful springboard dive there by Taka. High five Thrasher and Moss.
Goes back in the ring.
Oh, but Dixon, he just takes that Taka. And now he gets the proper tag in.
Dick and Funaki take down Taka. Oh, lovely stereo elbow drops. It's a nice Iron Maiden t-shirt though by Dick.
He's not bad talent either. The Taka there showing his agility.
Wow, monkey flip sends Dick halfway across the ring. Oh, then he deposits Taka to the outside. Baseball slide. Oh, head scissors takedown there by Dick. Very impressive.
And Taka goes into the unprotected barricade. Now Togo back in and he's continuing assault on Taka.
Tags in Men's. Tags for Kaientai now. They're working over the much smaller man in Taka Michinoku. I think he's their original target in this feud. Now Dick Togo continuing the assault on Taka. Oh, but Michinoku's fighting out with a couple of big back elbows. Standing switch. But Dick fights out of that. Springboard. Was that kind of like a backflip type thing? Takes down Taka.
And then Funaki tries to hit Taka whilst Men's holding him, but Taka dodges.
Oh, looking for the elbow, but Thrasher sits up, moves out of the way. Taka bounces the ropes. Oh, high elevation. Sends him crashing down on Funaki. Is he looking for the Michinoku driver? Bang, hits it. 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
And Kaientai defeated.
Well, there we go. Not a bad opener to start. Dan, what are your thoughts?
It was quite an interesting match. It wasn't a long match. It's a good little warm-up match to get us into the feel of things for this. It's a good little personal feud Taka's got going on with Kaientai, and he's teaming up with various sorts of characters, and it uses a bit more of the roster as well. So yeah, it wasn't no harm done really.
No, I think the thing is though is that you got to ask yourself about the light heavyweight championship that Taka Michinoku is holding. It's obvious WWF have got no plans for that unless they've got the kind of long-term plan with Kaientai, but I just don't see it as he teams up the Headbangers and Bradshaw and stuff like this. I think it's just trying to make Taka more of a WWF superstar than it is about light heavyweight division. But we move on. Oh, and Sable coming out now.
Well, we've got the King of the Ring bracket, and the first 2 rounds, the first round and the quarterfinal, was both on TV. Yes, we saw the first 2 rounds of the King of the Ring bracket on TV. The first round was Vader's The Rock won. Triple H versus X-Pac, Triple H won, setting up a match between them two. Owen Hart defeated Scorpio. Dan the Mustache Severn beat D'Lo Brown. Ken Shamrock beat Carmen Mustafa. Mark Henry beat Terry Funk. Jeff Jarrett beat Farouk, and Mark Merrow beat Steve Blackman. Then the quarterfinals. Well, in the quarterfinals, The Rock beat Triple H. Dan beat Owen Hart. Ken Shamrock beat Mark Henry. And Jeff Jarrett defeated Mark Merrow, setting up the semi-finals, one of which we're going to see next. And the semi-finals are The Rock versus Dan the Mustache Severn, and Ken Shamrock versus Jeff Jarrett. And the winner will go on to try and become King of the Ring later on in the show.
King of the Ring at this point, we'll just run through the King of the Ring winners quickly. 1993 when the first Bret Hart. Owen Hart won it in 1994. King Mabel in 1995. Called Stone Cold Steve Austin in 1996. Hunter Hearst Helmsley in 1997. Who will be 1998? That is not bad company. Only Mabel would be the kind of bad apple in that group of guys there. So it's either going to be Shamrock, The Rock, Jeff Jarrett,
Dan the Mustache Severn.
And Dan the Mustache Severn. Alright, Sable's back, everyone. She was fired, but then unfired. Yeah, not going to try and hurt my head over it. Crowd loved them some Sable, though. Anyway, she introduces Vince McMahon and the Stooges. And Patterson tries to fill Sable up for some reason, and rightfully gets 5 across the face from her. Now, for some reason, because Pat Patterson's a big gay, but he does grab her ass in a minute. Oh.
That was a loud slap.
Well, Patterson with a friendly tap, and then Sable with a slap. Well, McMahon disrespects the crowd, many of whom want to see Kane get set on fire, including former heavyweight champion Michael Mora. Don't know who that is. Even accusing them of lousy DNA syndrome, and it's their fault their life sucks. This is filler. Alright, interesting facts about WWE King of the Ring 1998. It marked the only pay-per-view match where the Smoking Guns face each other. For 3 years, Billy and Bart were figures of consistency in WWE's rather lacking tag team division. When the two split in 1996, a feud was imminent. Strangely enough, there was no pay-per-view blow-off. They each captained teams on the Survivor Series 96 pre-show with Bart pinning Billy, but the angle was abandoned after Billy was written out with a neck injury the following month. In 1997, the rechristened Rockabilly defeated Bart in a nothing match on Raw. The feud was deader than disco. By the same time, a year later, Billy was one half of the Transcendent New Age Outlaws, while Bart joined Bob Holly as a needless new United. And on this pay-per-view, we're going to see them face each other.
Burn, baby, burn, Austin 316. So a child of the age of 10 or 11, a man sets himself on fire.
What's the thing in it? Maybe that's what Kane did early in his life, where he lost a game of FIFA. He set himself on fire or something like that. So FIFA 98 was an awesome game. Didn't have the Blur song on it. You know, the song "Got My Head Shut." Woohoo!
I think that was early 2000s on the Blur one.
98.
Alright.
FIFA 98 soundtrack, yeah. Yeah, I think you could do like indoor football for that one as well. Alright, so it's King of the Ring semi-finals. It's either going to be Shamrock or Double J. That's JEFFJARRETT, or The Rock and Dan the Mustache Severn. I love the Double J's and sparklies and everything like that. Wouldn't you love it?
Wheels.
If it was a DW with fireworks like that?
No.
I would, if it was JR. Fucking love it if it was JR coming out here. Look at that cowboy hat. Look at the way he's dressed. Look at that package. I mean, Lex Luger calls himself it, but Jeff Jarrett is the total package, you know. The future WWF
There's
champion.
only one total package. That is Alex Wright.
Alex Wright. Which peanuts? I want to be a Nitro girl. I'm not allowed. So Jeff Jarrett's going to go against Ken Shamrock. So we've got Jeff Jarrett going to get Shamrock. Shamrock's been away for a little while. He's been injured ever since WrestleMania, but now he's back. and looking to win King of the Ring. And Jeff Jarrett's been feuding with Steve Blackman. But this is the world's most dangerous man.
And he looks dangerous as well.
He
With
looks
his MMA gloves on.
He's built like a brick shithouse. He's got the intensity in his eyes. He's got the look you would want. Fans like him. What could possibly go wrong with Ken Shamrock?
Future world heavyweight champion right there, ladies and gentlemen.
And that is a future star for years to come. And as he gets in the mood, he punched himself in the face. And Jeff Jarrett starts early.
Well, he don't want Ken Shamrock to get any steam going, but Shamrock quickly turns that around. Irish whip, close on attempt. Jarrett ducks it, but gets caught with a back elbow.
Shamrock with a kind of knee to the face there, pushing Jarrett back in the corner. And I think Shamrock, he wants to put it. He's so intense. He get the job done early. It favours Jeff the longer this match goes on. He is a veteran here.
Irish whip Shamrock to the corner, but Shamrock comes flying out with a thunderous clothesline, turns Double J inside out.
Now Shamrock's going to go for a suplex.
It's like a snap suplex there for Shamrock.
And nearly a float over as well, but can't get anything. Jarrett Irish whipped again, and now Shamrock with a calf kick. Not calf kick, just with a kick. Jarrett dodged.
Oh, comes off the ropes with a swinging net breaker.
And now turns it round, short arm clothesline. And with Tennessee Lee at ringside, you've got to think he's going to be a factor in this.
King Jarrett.
Double J, I think, has got a ring to it. I don't see King Shamrock as anything.
King Ken.
Oh, King Ken's quite cool. King Ken's quite cool.
King Ken cool.
Well, he's come so close yet so far with the Intercontinental Championship. Trying to, feuding with The Rock these past few months. Can he have some success?
Well, he eliminates Double J from the Royal Rumble to give himself a bit of a breather, but no, he's going to go and follow him out. And referee Tim White is struggling to keep control of this match thus far.
Struggling to get out of the ring. Now he finally does. He goes, look, ring's that way. And Shamrock wants a bit of Tennessee Lee.
Don't get too distracted, Kenneth.
Well, Shamrock lifts Double J up, throws barricade.
Well, I have it on good authority that Ken Shamrock is tougher than a $2 steak.
I was always quite a fan of Shamrock, to be fair. I thought he has quite a good look. I don't think he was too bad a wrestler. It'll be interesting to find out as we move along what kind of happened with him, if there's anything backstage or anything like this. I mean, even now you hear Shamrock in interviews saying he don't know why he was never offered a role back in WWE. I don't know if it was something maybe. I mean, what's your thoughts on old Ken?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he had enough of a personality. I mean, as annoying as he is, and I think that's kind of the case with Double J, at least he's got a bit of personality. But Ken Shamrock, he just comes out, he's the most dangerous man. He's always fuming and angry. It'd suit going with Nikki Cross. Yeah,
I think with Shamrock, he did have the kind of intensity there where he would snap. He wasn't always kind of mental like that. Yeah, he was quite an intense guy. And then he could take it to that next level, and I always saw potential in that. Not as a main event talent, but as someone like you can snap and then the ankle locks in is how dangerous it is. And the lines, then matches, he had his own, kind of things that he could have done, like the UFC type in WWE. I think there's a lot of potential there. But like I say, if you can't talk on a microphone, especially during the Attitude Era, you're kind of fighting a losing battle, aren't you?
Most definitely, yeah.
It is, like I say, personality is key during this time. It's not about being a good wrestler or anything like that. It's about if you can, and we've seen these over-the-top guys now. We've got the porn star just debuted. People like the Godfather just coming into play now. And of course, Sable, huge success, and she's not a great wrestler. She ain't a great wrestler. There's two things great about her, but you ain't no wrestling.
Now Ken Shamrock's finally getting into this with a big elbow and a spinning calf kick. Now looks like Ken Shamrock's about to snap on Double J. Probably looking to snap his ankle as well. Power slam goes for the cover, but Jarrett managing to kick out. Yes.
And now Shamrock picks up Jeff, but Jeff reverses.
Hurricane Rana from Shamrock. Got Jarrett in position for the ankle lock, and almost immediately Jarrett taps out. Tennessee Lee comes in. He gets a belly to belly for his troubles.
So Ken Shamrock wins, and he's through to the final of the King of the Ring. Dan, what are your thoughts?
Again, it wasn't a terrible match. I mean, guys didn't really miss a beat. I think the King of the Ring was certainly more important during this era than it was previously, if you catch my drift. It's I know obviously now it's kind of redundant, but I mean later on in its years it kind of lost a fair bit of meaning as well.
Well, it'd only go 4 more years after this anyway. So like I say, the King of the Ring, in my eyes, I thought it was a kind of major event. But Money in the Bank's nearly be going as long. Well, not as long, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like
WrestleMania 21?
WrestleMania 21, yeah. I think first pay-per-view Money in the Bank was like 2010, so they've been in it for 8 years now. 93 to 2002, that's 9 years. So it's not as long as we feel. But this is the first time that the quarterfinals haven't been on the pay-per-view section of the King of the Ring. So maybe, let's say, dialing back a little bit. But here's the next semi-final. Here comes The Rock, the ruler of the nation, with Godfather and Mark Henry.
Wow, and he's going against Dan the Mustache Severn. Who are you favouring in this match?
Well, Dan Severn. He's got to be... we talk about Shamrock being a dangerous man. Severn has been there, done that in UFC. He's made people tap out, and I think a match against Shamrock in a kind of UFC-style tournament match would be fantastic. And I think Severn is dangerous, and The Rock's got the Intercontinental title to fall back on.
Unlike Jeff Jarrett, who had Tennessee Lee in his corner, The Rock has got 2 members of the nation. He has got the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, and Kama Mustafa / Godfather. Well, he did have anyway, until they've just been asked to return to the back. So that's kind of fucked my prediction up.
There you go. Your advantage there has gone down, and that's got to be 1-on-1.
Where's D'Lo?
Well, that's what happened to D'Lo. He had his muscles ripped by Dan Severn in qualifying, so I don't know if D'Lo Brown's going to come back for a while.
So we've not really seen too much of Dan the Mustache Severn. What are your thoughts on him?
Oh, he's shit. He's an awful wrestler. I mean, he looks like my dad. So how can I take a wrestler who looks like my dad seriously in WWE? I talk about him being dangerous in the UFC. Great submission artist. But like you say, if you thought Shamrock had no personality, this man's got the personality of a sponge. No, I'm sorry, I'm being horrible to sponges. Of like, what's the plywood? Shit, just, you know what I mean? Just like plain, basic wood.
You can do a lot with plywood though.
Alright, what's the most basic wood that's shit?
Yours, because it never gets used.
Yeah, alright. My wood then.
Bazinga.
My wood then is Dan Severn. My penis is the equivalent of Dan Severn.
Your penis is called Dan.
It might look impressive. It might hurt a lot of people. But when it comes into the WWE...
just don't get used right.
Yeah, you're going to get used a lot by The Rock. That's my fault.
Nah, yeah, he looks like he's a 1970s wrestler. And in this kind of evolution of wrestling, I don't think he would have worked 20 years ago.
No,
well, from there anyway, not from here, because this is 20 years ago from here, and it don't work.
No, he really don't. I mean, even look at his trunks and stuff like that. He's trying to take The Rock down, work for the leg. Rock's trying to get out of it, and this is Severn style.
The Rock manages to get to the bottom rope. I reckon he'd have a good feud with Ken Shamrock, though. So, of course, the winner of this will go on to face Ken Shamrock. So, we could see Dan the Mustache versus Ken Dangerous Shamrock. Well, we could see The Rock and Shamrock get their hands on each other that we've seen a fair few times already.
And maybe Shamrock will finally get one up on The Rock.
So did Jerry Lawler take his winning the King of the Ring tournament a bit too seriously?
King never won it. It was his gimmick back in Memphis in the 70s. Just known as the King. I mean, they had done that gimmick in WWE with
King Booker.
King Harley Race back in the 80s. We saw King Harley Race at WrestleMania 3 and King Haku as well. But the King of the Ring tournament used to be a kind of house show in the late 80s. Bret Hart, and like I said, Night 3 was when it was first held as a pay-per-view. Bret won it, but the King did crown him after the coronation ceremony, hit him over the head, and that kind of started the feud between the two, because then the King was saying, I'm the real king, and Bret was like, no, you're not, you're just a dickhead. So that was kind of that. But the King's always kept his gimmick, and no one's really argued about it, I suppose. And The Rock finally got some offense in.
Takes Severin down with a clothesline, rips his elbow pad off.
Now putting the boots to the mustache.
Was he dancing around too much?
He's mocking Dan Severin's style of wrestling.
Suplex from The Rock. Goes over to a cover. 1, 2. Oh, but Dan kicking out. Well, both men had a meeting of the minds. Heads colliding. Dan not sure whether to get up yet or not.
And now the Godfather Mark Henry on the apron. Hope D'Lo Brown doesn't get involved.
D'Lo's out injured though.
Oh no, but he's got his chest protector on.
Oh.
Frog splash to Dan the mustache. Bit of payback.
The Rock rolls over for a cover. 1, 2, 3.
And The Rock wins, and he goes forward to the finals to face Shamrock later tonight. Well, that was an awful match. It really, really was terrible. I've got nothing more to say about that.
So it is, of course, later on in this pay-per-view, The Rock versus Shamrock to be crowned King of the Ring, 1998.
Well, Al Snow wanted a meeting with Vince McMahon, and he's got his wish. If he can win this match tonight, he will be a WWF employee. So it's him and Head versus just too much. Brian Christopher and Scott Taylor.
With 7 men in 1 bed, James is in his element. So which team are you favouring then, James? Are you favouring the team of Too Much, Brian Christopher and Scott Taylor? Or are you favouring Al Snow and Head?
Well, I'm not used to Head, so I've got to say Too Much for me. I mean, these are young, braggadocious guys. I mean, just full of cockiness. And they've been a tag team for a while. Look, look at Scotty Too Hotty there, eh? Fucking hell.
Would you rather see the Head or the Worm?
I'd rather see the Worm than Head. I mean, and just think of the kind of, say, evolution of the change of character. Scott Taylor at the moment, kind of nondescript bad guy with Brian Christopher. And then kind of create, like, using the Worm and the kind of lid and kind of stuff as well. His hair all fucking gelled up.
But we have got, sorry to interrupt you, a special guest referee, James.
Oh, that's great. We got onto that in a second. And Scott Taylor now, he's just like, yeah. Who's referee then?
It is Jerry the King Lawler.
And how's that fair? It's Brian Christopher's dad. So here comes Al Snow out. No music, of course, because he's not a WWE
Employee
even. You're right about that. He's not any connection with WWF. Look, we've got another Head. But Al Snow's been around for a while. I mean, even in WWE, Leif Cassidy, part of the New Rockers with Marty Jannetty, and Jannetty decided to leave, and he went to ECW and found a Head character thanks to Mick Foley. So but now the King has been announced as a referee, and I'm shocked. And Al Snow having to go to his Head.
So how can someone pin Head if there's no shoulders for them to be pinned to the mat?
And the match has started.
Nice takedown. He's working over Scott. Al keeps going to the corner for some advice off of Head.
Well, Head probably shouting at him.
Do you reckon Al Snow hears voices in his head?
I think he does. He communicates with it.
And Scotty is very hotty at the moment.
He's actually not. He wouldn't find a Scotty Too Hotty cat till later at the moment.
On the back of his jacket it said, too hot.
Yeah, it's Scott Too Hot Taylor.
Exactly, Scott Too Hot T. As he tags in Brian Christopher, or Grand Master Sexay, or Too Sexy, as his trunks say.
Well, they are just too sexy. They're too much.
They're too cool.
They're too hot. They're too king.
Well, Brian Christopher's telling his dad, or the referee, that Al Snow was pulling his hair. Jerry King Lawler's reprimanding Al Snow for pulling hair.
Well, it's good that the King's impartial.
And Al Snow looking to strike Brian Christopher, Jerry blocking it because it was a closed fist.
Again, fair, impartial referee.
Oh, Christopher perched on the top rope, gets thrown off by Snow. Now Al's going up top.
Wonder what he's going to do.
Oh, Scotty Taylor getting involved. The ref's telling him off though. Sunset flip by Snow into a powerbomb. Takes Christopher down.
Goes for the cover. King gets positioned, making sure the shoulders are down. 1, 2. Nice, deliberate count by the King. Make sure the shoulders down. But, Brian Christopher kicks out. That was close then, but the King definitely a 2. Nice refereeing. I don't know why Al Snow complaining. He put himself in this situation.
Well, Al Snow's just eliminated Christopher from the Royal Rumble. Scotty comes behind. He gets eliminated as well. Now they're going to work over too much on the outside.
And Snow plow. Oh no, I thought he was going to try that. Just slams him. And now he's gone.
No, he's just getting a big run up as he clotheslines Scotty Too Hotty. Clotheslines Brian Christopher, springboarding off the top rope with a clothesline, takes down Al Snow.
Now he got arrested recently again, Brian Christopher, because he didn't pay for hotel room. But apparently he's been off hard drugs for a few years, so that's good news.
He's just on soft ones now, then.
And Al Snow, I think he's still training OVW, isn't he? Impact Wrestling or something like that. Drop kick by Taylor.
Snow had worked from 2010 to 2017. He'd worked as a road agent for TNA and with its former developmental territory, OVW, as a show producer.
He was a tough enough trainer. I saw him do that for a couple of series. Weren't too bad, actually, but I don't know if I want to get taught by Al Snow.
Self-help, life lessons from the bizarre wrestling career of Al Snow. Do you know what his real name is?
No.
Alan Ray Sarvan.
Nice pump handle action. And then moonwalk there by Taylor.
Double leg takedown. Oh, lovely suplex from Snow.
King pushes Taylor to get a tag to Brian Christopher. And now bulldog by Brian. And now Al Snow looking. He's finally took too much down. Now looking for a tag. There you go. Head gets tagged in.
Oh, and Head takes down Brian and Scotty.
Well, Head's on fire, baby. Talk about a hot tag. Snowplow for Al Snow on Brian Christopher.
Snowplow on Brian Christopher, yeah.
But not the legal, but not the legal man. But the King get distracted by the fans rather than go for the cover. I don't think he can though. Does he realise? King going out the ring. Taylor Irish for it, but Head.
Oh, headbutt down south.
Well, to 2 heads there, wasn't it? Taylor's down, but Christopher's got thrown. I don't know what it is. Maybe a shampoo bottle. Snowplow again. Cover on Taylor. And Christopher pinning Head. Al Snow thinks he's won, but he hasn't. I call shenanigans.
Oh, Head and Shoulders.
So how could you pin Head? Well, you got Head and Shoulders. Too much win and Al Snow's gone. Bye, Al. What do you think? But let's hope this shit show does improve, because up next it's X-Pac versus Owen Hart, and surely these two guys won't let us down. So Owen Hart cost X-Pac 2 weeks ago in the King of the Ring. Made sure he got counted out against Triple H. But then last Monday, X-Pac, fucking hell, chair to the back of the head. You can see the impact there. Bit of payback, and here comes X-Pac.
This will be the first time we've seen him in action for DX, isn't it?
Yep, it's the first time we are seeing it. But when we have our big catch-up, we'll try and see some highlights of him versus Triple H. So we've just seen X-Pac's entrance, and now so it is Nation versus DX. A lot of bad blood between both men.
Oh, and X-Pac comes flying out the ring to greet Owen Hart, and he's working him over on the outside. The bell has rung. Owen's been thrown back inside now.
Well, this is weird. Talk about X-Pac, first proper pay-per-view match back in WWF. His last pay-per-view match was September of 1997 in War Games when it was NWA versus the Four Horsemen. So quite incredible when you think it was 9 months ago. And of course, he had that big neck injury. Since then, he's had all the beef with Bischoff, but can he back it up in the ring? Going against a great athlete in Owen Hart. Man himself wanted to leave for WCW, what wasn't allowed, kept under because of the contract. Was told that he's going to have a better position in the card. Feud with Michaels. Michaels didn't want to feud with him. So then he was put with Triple H, and now he's been demoted again to, you would argue, a lesser member of DX with X-Pac, but it is still the DX Owen Hart feud we've seen now for the past few months. But Owen says enough is enough, and it's time for a change. So maybe that's why he's let the nation into his heart. So a bit more of Owen Hart like we've seen. Have your thoughts changed of Owen Hart? What do you think of him?
I don't know. I've never been the biggest fan of Owen Hart, and no disrespect to the dead. But no, I don't know. He's not really one that's impressed me. You know? Yeah,
I think for me, he has kind of. I've got a newfound respect for Owen. Like I said, weren't really part of our generation, apart from, of course, falling to his death. But like even before this, now we've seen like the kind of Owen Brett rivalry that they had in the kind of way. I mean, there's no doubt Owen was a good wrestler. You know, I don't think there's any questioning that. Again, might be a personality issue a little bit for Owen and being in Brett's shadow, and of course the Hart family's shadow itself. But what we've seen of him, I think he's delivered in ring, and I expect this to be a good match between Owen and X-Pac because of the way both men work. And it has been a back and forth effort so far.
Well, yeah, X-Pac had the upper hand straight off the bat, but Owen Hart has managed to fight his way back into it. With fisherman suplex, bridges out, but X-Pac managing to kick out.
And let's not forget, Owen Hart has had a successful WWE career, as JR said on commentary there. The only championship he never won was, of course, the WWF title. And should he have maybe had a chance to win it, I think he'd give him a chance, a bit like Shamrock earlier, but it just never really worked out. But, of course, European champion, Slammy Award winner, Intercontinental champion, Tag Team champion with Bulldog. But lowers his head, gets caught by X-Pac there. But Owen now, small cradle to X-Pac, but X-Pac kicks out.
So do you reckon Owen Hart would have made a bigger impact if he had been allowed to leave and go to WCW?
I think he would have been alive, and I think that would have mattered. And I think Brett maybe wouldn't have had the kind of stress that he had found in his life. And I think maybe they both would have tired as well. Brett talks about it, they only want a couple of years left. You know, with Brett's contract expiring in WCW and the way Owen Hart was feeling, he, of course, was a family man. I mean, he loved his kids and, of course, his wife as well. And the thing about Owen is that you don't hear a bad story about him, so he just sounds like he's quite a nice guy.
He used to like the ribs, didn't he?
Yeah, very, very, very rib-like, you know.
Hi, Daniel, hi.
Very, very,
Those
very
I'm watching. Hi, bald man in the crowd.
And Owen Hart Irish whips X-Pac into the timekeeper's table. Bell goes flying right into the barricade. Now there's a hell of an impact there. Then we see the bloke with the Hi Daniel sign. I can't believe we travelled back 20 years just for that moment there. And now Owen's got X-Pac suplexes him on the announce table, throws him back in. It's been all Owen recently, going to the top. Of course, he's a high flyer as well, you know, the most high-flying Hart. But Owen hits the dropkick successfully, goes for the pin, but X-Pac gets a shoulder up at 2.
So Owen's slowing this match down with a sleeper hold. This should be more of a technical match than the others that we've seen. You know, both these guys are quite good in the ring.
It's been the best match so far, hasn't it?
Yeah.
The exchanges between the two, the kind of quickness that we have that's been missing from the rest of the card. And like I say, taking a breath now.
And you can also see the hatred that these two factions have got as well. You know, they're both up-and-coming factions. You know, the Refreshed Nation, the new D-Generation X. So, you know, I think it's kind of marking their territory. These are kind of like, you know, the secondary guys in each faction. You got The Rock, who's the leader of the nation. You got Triple H, who's the leader. And, you know, these two guys are kind of following in their footsteps.
No, I think you're right. And, oh, is that an X Factor there by X-Pac? Well, he's not going to put him away, though. Yeah, these are definitely the workhorses, but I think The Rock and Triple H are great wrestlers as well. I think that's what makes it different, kind of NWO and the Nation. It's all the type of matches that you got, even the Outlaws versus Godfather or Mark Henry and D'Lo were involved. I think they're all quite good talents, and X-Pac there gets a foot caught by Bonds with the insecurity, throws Owen Hart in the corner now.
Oh, an X-Pac with a kicks to the head. Now he's choking out Owen Hart with his foot in the corner, looking for the Bronco Buster.
And Owen
felt the full brunt of that.
I thought he blocked it for a second. It looked like he got his hands up. I think he was just making sure he didn't get a cock in his mouth. Some people don't like that, apparently. And X-Pac slams Owen.
X-Pac's looking to go up top. Owen Hart recovers quick enough, though.
Now, Owen's caught X-Pac. What's he going to try?
Oh, both men both men are jockeying from position.
God.
Let's throw himself backwards.
Yep. Like over the edge 99. Oh my God, that's quite a bad injury. Busted his eye open there, Owen. X-Pac got crutched on the top rope. Owen fell back in the ring. Oh!
And the world's strongest splash from Mark Henry. Throws X-Pac back in the ring.
Chyna's not happy about that, though. She don't care what size you are. The world's strongest man. Here.
Well, Chyna doesn't care how big and black your cock might be.
Oh my God, Vader just come in and fallen over. He's got a problem with Mark Henry going after him. These two big men. Of course, last time we saw Vader, last pay-per-view, he said he was a fat, useless son of a bitch.
But while this melee was going on, Chyna's just come in, DDT'd Owen Hart.
Well, Owen had the sharpshooter on X-Pac, but now he's broken that up. She's broken that up. X-Pac goes for the cover and gets the win. There you go. X-Pac wins. Thanks to Chyna, DX get a victory over the Nation, but this might be a battle won by X-Pac, but the war is far from over.
Well, it was quite an interesting match. You know, you had the involvements here. Yeah. No, it was a good match. You had, like, you know, the outside interference. You had the Nation coming out to try and help Owen Hart. You had Chyna coming in to help X-Pac.
Yeah, I think it was good style, and I think it's the best match that we've seen all night. Oh, and here comes Paul Bearer waddling out. Here's Paul Bearer. He got beat up at his home by Undertaker last week. Paul talks about life at home, and it damn near contradicts the whole Undertaker-Kane storyline history, although it has been contradicted so many times, you'll think it was running for office or something. Anyway, Bearer's rooting Kane. Also, Paul Bearer is a bad father. Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody. So after Paul Bearer is the New Age Outlaws, and Chyna's had a quick change, just stuck on a pair of sunglasses and a hat. She's out here with the Outlaws, and they're going to go against, well, for me, this is a dream match, because their opponents, Bombastic Bob, Bodacious Bart, the new Midnight Express. This is a match that will live in infamy. Infamy. They've all got it infamy. Wow, look at the NWA Tag Team Champions with James E. Cornette.
I heard that E is for extra effort.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. Look at Bob Holly there.
It looks like Sparkplug Holly.
Vicious. And then Bombastic Bob out here as well.
Well, he is Mr. Bombastic.
The first ever proper pay-per-view meeting between Billy and Bart Gunn. Will there be a smoking gun here tonight with the tag team titles on the line? Here we go, Bob and Road Dogg to start. Collar and elbow tie up, and Road Dogg, Bob Holly up into the corner. But a clean break, nice to see there. And referee Jimmy Corderas applauds that. Let's see, 4 athletes at their best here. And Road Dogg trying to get out, pushes Bob against the ropes.
Gets hit with a stiff shoulder.
Fun there, wasn't it, by Bob Holly, dodging a leapfrog as well.
Deep arm drag takedown by Road Dogg though. Gets
nice.
met with a boot from Bob.
Well, Bob showed he can spring up as well, but Road Dogg catches him there. Lethal clothesline.
Billy Bart, Bob, and Road Dogg.
Yeah, and the dog now with Bob. A clothesline there for Mobile, Alabama, from Bombastic Bob. And he's got the Road Dogg.
Has he got the Alabama Slammer yet?
No, not yet. And the Irish Whip's a former Marine who puts his boot up. He's going to try and fight out of this.
Gets a tag to Billy.
Well, he won't be Rockabilly tonight. He's looking to go against Bart. Bart gets a tag. It's on like Donkey Kong now. Billy Gunn in one corner. Bart Gunn in the other. What a war this will be. Two brothers. And now the Mr. Ass gets an advantage with a low kick to Bart and the short arm jabs.
But gets met with a stiff shoulder block.
Both men running the ropes well. Bart, impressive, lands on his feet after an arm drag attempt. Hits the clothesline, but can't keep Billy down. He would say Billy Gunn's stronger, but at this moment in time, it looks like Bart. He's just as big as Billy. Irish whip. Billy dodges the clothesline. Now jumps over sunset flip. Bart sits down and now it's a pure test of strength.
I want a backslide from Billy.
Goes for the cover. Bart kicking out.
Ah.
So they were using their finishers at the time. We've seen X-Pac use the X-Factor and Billy using the famous. It just wasn't their finisher yet, I guess. Oh!
Turns Bart inside out with a clothesline.
And Billy telling Bart,
suck it, suck it, suck it.
well, Bob's not impressed by that. But the fans are.
And he picks Bart up by his hair, tags in Road Dogg.
Drop toe hold by Billy.
And then the roadie drops his knee on the back of the head.
Bit of shake, rattle and roll there.
Shake, rattle and knee drop.
Irish whip reversed by Big Bart. Picks Road Dogg up, but Road Dogg somehow managing to land on his feet.
Oh, but that was very intelligent by Bart. Drags Road Dogg in. Hangs him up on the top rope. Tags in Bob.
And now Bob is in with a big right hand.
Tags in Bob. Drop toe hold from Bart. And Bob drops the elbow to the back of Road Dogg's head. I think they're just going mirror images there of each other.
Yeah, anything the Outlaws can do, the Express can do better. Irish whipping his partner Bob and Gorilla Press slamming him down on Road Dogg. But Road Dogg again showing heart, determination and kicking out.
Ah.
And Bob taking down Billy. Referee distracted him.
Now double team from the new Midnight Express. Bob telling Road Dogg to suck it. Billy Gunn didn't like that. Comes and bulldogs Bob from behind. Roll up from Road Dogg, but only getting a 2 count.
2. And now Bob's got Road Dogg, not letting him get to Billy. And slowing him down with a sleeper. And now Bob picking up Road Dogg, slamming him down. Road Dogg managed to escape the submission, but can't escape from the new Midnight Express. Bob all the way up now, slammed down.
Oh, but Road Dogg got his foot up straight into the face of Bob.
And now can Road Dogg get a tag to Billy?
Yes, he can. And he takes down both members of the new Midnight Express. He's on fire, baby. Irish whip to Bob. Kick to the midsection.
Maybe we're going to go pile driver, and Bart tried to stop it. Road Dogg blocked him off though.
Jim Cornette with a tennis racket. Is that or the title belt from behind? Bob gets a roll up. 1, 2. Oh, but Billy managing to kick out.
And now the Midnight Express has got Billy.
Billy ducks underneath both members. Road Dogg takes out the leg of Bart. Billy nearly pins Bob, but only gets a 2.
2. Bob pokes Billy, but Billy turns it round into a pin. Jim's in again with a title belt. This time Billy catches him. Billy saying, I'm not going to... Chyna's in the ring now. Sunglasses away.
Oh, Jim gets a low blow.
And Billy runs with the right hand with...
Both members of New Age Outlaws hanging Bob up top. 3 count.
Wow, so the Outlaws win that one, but I think it's a bad match. Thoughts?
No, it wasn't a terrible match. It was, it was what it was, wasn't it?
So up next, it's the King of the Ring final. It's The Rock versus Ken Shamrock. But why is DX music playing? Triple H coming out here. Looks like he's going to join the commentary. Chyna's not going to come out again, though.
Surely not. Don't call me Shirley. But she is back out here again for the 3rd time on a trot.
What was the point of her going backstage? She just stayed out here all the time. I mean, what was the point? Wasted journey, all I'm saying. Save your steps. And again, DX fireworks. And, of course, Hunter Hearst Helmsley won it last year. Beating Mankind in the final. Mankind, of course, is going to face The Undertaker and Hell in a Cell after this. You want to say how important King of the Ring is? In 1996, Austin won it. Tonight he's in the main event for the WWF Championship.
I'm going to go with Ken Shamrock because I don't think The Rock needs the push. Ken Shamrock needs it more.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think Shamrock needs a victory over The Rock to kind of show that he does belong in a kind of same category. Rock is growing week in, week out now, isn't he? From kind of just like mid-level heel to kind of mixing with Austin. He'll be a major heel.
Major heel.
And I think with Shamrock, he needs to keep pace with him. You know, you look at Triple H with the Nation looking on as well. We got the DX Nation feud. Of course, he'd be looking at the Intercontinental title held by The Rock. But, you know, I think The Rock, I'm surprised he got through Dan Severn. And I think if he could beat Severn, then he might be able to get a job against Shamrock. Well, Shamrock's got that intense look in his eyes. He's come out here, punched himself in the face, and he's got a lot of unfinished business with The Rock.
So while Triple H is on the American announce or the English announce table, Chyna's joined the Spanish announce team, and she's holding her own there.
Yeah, she's a cunning linguist.
The Rock's got the upper hand on Ken Shamrock at the moment.
Yeah, it was Shamrock to start off, and then The Rock came back in it after taking a breather on the outside. But Shamrock's just dodged The Rock's offense there, and he's catching his breath back. He's had slight eye problems tonight, Shamrock, so we'll keep an eye on that as the match goes on. Mike KOTR there stopping Ken for going outside, and it gives The Rock a chance to get his breath back.
Well, don't forget, James, both of these guys have already been through one hellacious match each tonight.
Yes.
I mean, The Rock narrowly defeated Dan the Mustache. Yes, and Shamrock narrowly defeated Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, you're right about that. And now Rock getting in Triple H's face. Triple H's got the water.
So Triple H spitting the water in the face of The Rock, and now getting in Chyna's face. But I think he needs to concentrate on Ken Shamrock, who comes up from behind and starts punching away at him.
Rock pie face Triple H as well. But now gets sent to the announce table. So this feud's been going on for 9 to 10 months with Shamrock, so this will come to an end, and then the Triple H feud will start in earnest.
Suplex by Shamrock, rolls over for the cover, goes for and only gets a 2 count.
2. Yep, couldn't get the cover there, and then Shamrock thrown over the top, gets caught at the top rope and the second rope. Completely accidental though, the referee stops it straight away.
Oh, Shamrock throws Rock into unprotected barricade, but The Rock bounces straight back off it and clotheslines Shamrock, and now again gets in Triple H's face. Can Shamrock stand on that bad ankle? He's trying to run the ropes, but he's visibly limping. Rock goes for a punch to the midsection, hits a swinging neckbreaker. Shamrock managing to kick out.
The Rock now doesn't want to get overconfident and count Shamrock out. We know the kind of heart that he's got.
Shamrock swinging wildly with the lefts and rights to the midsection of The Rock, backs him into a corner. Irish whips him to the opposite one. Rock ducks Shamrock's clothesline though. Gets planted with a DDT. And again Rock going for the cover, with Shamrock managing to kick out.
Triple H says it's not who you know, it's what you can do in the ring. The guy married to Stephanie McMahon. Alright, yeah. Yeah, alright, yeah, alright. But he has been quite funny on commentary, to be fair. Says he's going to stick his boot up The Rock's ass, but says it's quite a nice boot. And now he slams down Shamrock. Well, The Rock does. And now it's time. The people know.
Bang, hits its mark. If he gets the cover, it could be all over. Oh, that was a very lackadaisical cover from The Rock, though.
Yeah, it was. But Shamrock, after people's elbow, managed to kick out. And now The Rock's like, fuck this noise. And then he's got a sleeper in with Shamrock. Shamrock gets out of it, pushes The Rock away, but then a lovely DDT by The Rock. Can't get the job done. Shoulder up at 2.
2.
Double clothesline there from Shamrock and The Rock. I mean, what a fucking impact that was. And now both men down.
They nearly took each other's heads off. Oh, Shamrock's felt his second wind. Irish whipping The Rock and then taking him down with his spinning heel kicks.
Scoop slam, 2. Oh, but The Rock managed to get the shoulder up at 2.
2. Unbelievable there. Rock's up.
Rock swinging and missing. Shamrock. Fisherman suplex. Breaches out 1, 2. Oh, but The Rock managed to get his shoulder up at 2.
2. Can't believe it again. And now The Rock is on the ropes. He's got Shamrock. Sends him into the top turnbuckle. Irish whip across.
The Shamrock responds with a back elbow. Oh, gets caught by The Rock, who power slams him. Goes for the cover, but Shamrock managing to kick out.
Rock picks Shamrock up, rakes to the eyes. Tries that DDT again, but Shamrock catches him this time.
Oh.
Turns it into a suplex, but the Rock somehow getting the shoulder up at 2. Oh, fucking hell. And then Shamrock backing the Rock out in the corner with punches.
Hard clothesline from the Rock, goes for a cover, but again only getting a 2 count. But again only getting a 2 count.
2. Shamrock can't get up. Rock coming across.
Oh, Shamrock with a little bit of a mistake there, but hitting Rock with a short arm clothesline. Goes for another cover, but a Rock kicking out.
And now both men just coming into the 4th quarter now. Goes for a Hurricane Runner attempt.
It's the bottom of the 9th.
It is. Hurricane Runner attempt. Rock low. Tar held him up on that top rope. Shamrock sprang back off the impact there. Great athletic move. Rock goes for the cover, but somehow Shamrock getting the shoulder up.
Ooh.
Rock
Shamrock
now,
rolling through,
yeah.
picking the ankle of the Rock.
Rock was too confident when he got his leg picked.
He was cool, he was cocky, and that's too bad.
And now he's grabbing the referee, saying no, but he's got no choice.
He taps out, and it is now King Ken.
He has won King of the Ring 98, and the love and respect of everyone in this arena who will remember where they were when Ken Shamrock won King of the Ring 1998. From UFC to WWE, it's quite a journey, and it ends this near year-long feud that he's had with The Rock with a defining victory here tonight. What did you think of the match, Dan?
It wasn't a bad match. I have no idea why Triple H was ringside and what he had to do with matters. But no, between these two, there was a couple of tiny little mistakes, but nothing too major. And yeah, it kind of went off without a big hitch.
Yeah, I think the Triple H thing is that he was King of the Ring last year, so he's looking on who would become King of the Ring now, and of course he's still got that kind of feud with The Rock. We saw the interaction there between the two, so I think it made enough sense for me, but I don't think it was a bad ending to the match with Shamrock catching The Rock by surprise. I think if The Rock wasn't as cocky as he was, then like I say, he might have got the victory, but Shamrock does tonight. Do you know Ken Shamrock was the first babyface king in 5 years? One of the most underappreciated matches from the 1998 King of the Ring was Shamrock's crowning victory over Intercontinental Champion The Rock. It was Shamrock's first title of any sort since debuting in the company 16 months earlier, and it made him the first babyface king since Bret Hart won the tournament in 1993.
The Mick Foley was originally set to face...
Generally, that wins the tournament as you can build a new challenger for a babyface champion by involving him with this sort of crown credibility. That's why of the 14 King of the Ring tournaments since 1993, 10 on pay-per-view, 4 other tournaments since, only 3 of them were won by babyfaces. Hart in 93, Shamrock in 98, and can you tell me the other babyface that won the King of the Ring tournament? It's Edge in 2001.
Well, Mick Foley was originally set to face Steve Austin for the title yet again. Austin's first serious challenger after winning the WWE Championship was Foley, repurposed as villainous corporate Dude Love. The feud intertwined with the heel turn of Vince McMahon, giving Austin the ultimate nemesis, while Foley was somewhat peripheral to the grander story. He and Austin put together some classic matches, including an all-timer at Over the Edge 1998. That is the greatest overbooked match in history. It's 5 stars without a question. Turns out the original plans were for Austin and Foley to continue their feud at King of the Ring once more for the gold, this time inside Hell of a Cell. The plan was scrapped when, according to Foley, the power brokers in the company just weren't feeling Austin Foley 3 at that point in time. Foley, for his part, didn't exactly disagree with that notion. Foley, for his part, didn't exactly disagree with that notion.
The Undertaker worked Hell in a Cell with a broken foot. Foley found out that he'd still be working inside Hell in a Cell, but it would be with an old nemesis, The Undertaker, instead. Foley was initially sceptical of the match's chances of greatness, given both the lukewarm reception to his return to the Mankind role and Undertaker's physical health at the time. When the match was planned, Undertaker was still on the mend as a result of a bone chips in his foot. The injury had not entirely healed by the night of the pay-per-view, yet Undertaker worked anyway. After the second major bump that Foley endured, Undertaker climbed down in the ring for the cell's unintended opening, had to jump a bit to reach the canvas. As was apparent for his pained limp, the jump did no wonders for his pre-existing injury.
Well, Terry Funk was the one that suggested that Mick Foley start on top of the cage. Sometime before King of the Ring, Foley and friend/mentor Terry Funk paid a visit to WWE offices, where they sat in an office watching Undertaker's prior cell matches with Shawn Michaels. The two were enfrailed by the show-stealing performance of both particularly blood-soaked, battered and beaten Michaels, and what Foley felt in his gut that it was going to be a hard match to top. Foley asked for some advice from the elder statesman on what he could do to make his cell match special. Funk replied, "I think you ought to start the match on top of the cage." Later on, somewhat jokingly, Funk added, "Maybe you should let him throw you off the top of the cage." Foley laughed at that silly suggestion. Before churning it through his mind and gut. After mulling it seriously, Foley said to his friend, "I think I can do it."
The cage roof was not meant to give way. The first throw from top of the cell was planned, and sharp-eyed viewers can see Foley somewhat able to guide his descent through the Spanish announce table. When Foley stormed the top of the cage a second time, Undertaker chokeslammed onto a chain-link partition, which came undone, sending Foley crashing to the mat in horrific fashion. The prop guy intentionally rigged the roof in order to allow it capacity to sag, but it wasn't meant to fully break loose. The Undertaker, for his part, thought that Foley had legitimately been killed in the fall, as the roof breaking came as a surprise to him. Funk concurred, and that when he hit the ring to check on his friend, Foley's eyes weren't rolled back in his head, but they looked totally glazed over, like a dead fish's eyes. Foley was knocked unconscious from the impact, but thankfully managed to come around minutes later.
Well, Foley does not remember certain parts of the destructive blows to Foley's head and body left him in a greatly compromised state. As mentioned, the fall through the cage's ceiling legitimately knocked him unconscious, and it was several minutes before Foley does not remember certain parts of the match. The destructive blows to Foley's head and body left him in a greatly compromised state. As mentioned, the fall through the cage's ceiling legitimately knocked him unconscious, and it was several minutes before Foley, God only knows how, could resume work in the match. Because of the damage done, particularly in the form of a concussion, there are parts of the match Foley doesn't recall. He would later make mention of the post-match examination in the trainer's room, where he said to a present Undertaker, "Did I use thumbtacks?" To which a bemused dead man responded, "Look at your arm, Mick." Surely enough, a number of tacks remained in Foley's limb. A further window into Foley's adult state can be found in the Barry Blaustein documentary Beyond the Mat, where Blaustein reveals an answering machine message from Foley in the aftermath of the match. Foley sounds groggy, confused, and speaks incoherently as he tries to string together thoughts in the message.
But now it should get better, because we've got two blockbuster main events. We've got the first blood match for the WWF Championship, which is Kane versus Austin. But right now, next, it is Undertaker versus Mankind. Perverse, vile, diabolical structure.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is the Hell in the Cell match!
I was originally very surprised. I didn't honestly think that my position at the time merited such a big match. And it turned out to be, not only the biggest match of my career, but the only match that people seem to remember me by.
Just threw that chair on top of the cage. What is he doing?
Mick's one of those guys that likes to see what he can do and what he can't do and what he can get away with. Mick's that kind of guy. He's a risk taker.
Mankind is climbing the cage. You're supposed to start out inside the cage, isn't he?
Mr. McMahon knew that I wanted to go up on the top of the cell and wanted to be sure that I was comfortable with the idea of being up there. I told a little bit of a white lie that I had no problem with it. The truth is, when I did reach the top, my initial feeling, I'm sorry if I'm ruining people's image of me, but it was, you've got to be kidding me.
All the thinks he's lost, I think he misses his mind the most. Uh-oh, here we go. The pain that these two men are preparing to endure is inhuman. How they will put their bodies on the line here. And the Undertaker says, he's doing it. You want me up there? You want to come up there and fight? I'm going to come up and whip your butt. Oh, my God. And apparently Hell in a Cell match is officially underway.
They're standing on top of that cage. No, wouldn't it be cool if, like, one of them fell off of it and that's not going to happen. And then all of a sudden, there goes Mick.
It was almost like in slow motion, you know, and he starts to kind of go over you like, no way. Now he's going to catch himself. Oh my God, he's falling. He's falling.
And you hear Jim Ross, oh my God, he's broken in half. Mankind was crazy, and I don't know how he's still alive to this day.
We need doctors out here. If somebody can get off their butt in the back and get some people out here.
People ask the question, did you know it was coming? Absolutely not. I'm thinking that they're just going to get close to the edge and scare the heck out of us. And then when Foley's big 300-pound body starts going through the air, it was frightening.
Watching him come right into the table, 3 feet away from us, I really thought that he was dead.
It's over. That cage is 16 feet high. Not rating sound right there.
Certainly there was no way that I could be thrown off that structure and survive. And yet I was, and I did.
Once again, he had proved his passion for sports entertainment at the expense of his body.
It was spectacular and amazing and incredible, and you'd never seen anything like it. And then a lot of guys would be like, okay, I'm done now.
Yet, ever the showman, Mick Foley was down, but not out.
You're kidding me! In the hell is he standing?
Oh my God, this is the toughest man alive.
Are you kidding me? He wants to go back up!
He's insane. He's going to finish this match, though. That's Mick Foley.
That feeling of electricity when people realize this thing wasn't over.
This is absolutely amazing.
It's a high that I can't compare to anything else I've done in my career. My biggest mistake was thinking when I went through that table that the worst of my night was over.
A headbutt by the Undertaker.
And I don't think anybody realized that that would not be the case.
Wow, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding. I think even Undertaker was wow, like, what?
You just see him fall and you're just kind of falling the whole time and he's kind of contorted. The other fall didn't kill him, this one's definitely gonna kill him.
Well, somebody stop the damn match! Enough's enough!
Today, wisely so, they'd stop it. At that time we were in uncharted territory.
And everybody was pushing each other to try to get to monitors and looking through the curtain and going, is he moving?
He may have internal, he's gotta have internal injuries right here.
I'd seen stars a lot of times. That was the only time I was ever knocked completely unconscious. There was a chair up there that I'd used on The Undertaker earlier in the match that followed me down, hitting me in the face and knocked out my teeth. Not these two. Those two are already gone a long time ago.
How is he still standing up? I don't have a damn clue.
Jerry Lawler said nobody could get up after that, but he's doing it. But I could barely stand. It wasn't until I was sitting in that corner that the cobwebs started to clear, and that's where the world saw that there was a tooth stuck in my nose.
Oh my! Oh. And he's smiling. He is smiling.
That shot will live forever. I mean, forever.
He's bleeding out of both ears. He's got a tooth up through his nose. And I'm going, Mick, are you all right? He goes, keep going. I couldn't believe it. He goes, get the tax. I said, get the tax? Get an ambulance. Are you crazy?
Oh, God. What is that? Thumbtacks. This is off the page. People are cheering this, JR. My God. A toe slam. No way. Oh, what a sadistic thing. A toe slam on the tax. My God.
He rolls over and he's glistening from head to toe with silver, and it's thumbtacks stuck through his gear and his arms and his face. It was a gruesome, gruesome sight.
My God, this has just gone too far. Oh, stop it! Tombstone! Tombstone! Mercifully, this is over!
No one could have expected the lengths Mick Foley would go to on that illustrious evening in Pittsburgh.
I will never forget what we just witnessed right there.
Even the competition in WCW had to recognize that the bar had been raised to seemingly insurmountable heights.
Mick Foley off the top of the cage. I said, that's it, boys. The run is over. How are you going to top that?
How anybody could not admire the effort of Mick Foley is beyond me.
I watched it 1,000 times, and it literally changed the business. That was as spectacular as it got.
Look at Mankind. It's almost as if he doesn't want, you are kidding, to leave on a stretcher.
A lot of people in WCW couldn't do that stuff. So I was like, well, you ain't beating that one.
Going above and beyond the call of duty, Mick Foley had cemented his legacy in sports entertainment history.
My God, if anybody ever deserved a standing ovation.
The most perverse, vile, diabolical structure. We are just about to witness his second Hell in a Cell match in WWF history. And we watched this before, way back on episode 2. When it was myself, Dan, and Dwayne. So let's hope we can put on a better show than we did back then. But 20 years ago on this day.
On this day!
And Mankind's music with the steel chair. And like I say, Funk's suggestion that he starts on top. I mean, my God, this match. I mean, how many times have you actually watched this match before it gets underway, Dan? Or the moments in the match, if you know what I mean.
I've probably watched the match probably about half a dozen times, probably about 5 or 6 times, yeah. And the moments in the match, you know, they featured quite heavily over a lot of time, you know, different features and that. So I've probably seen the moments probably about 20 times.
Yeah, honestly, they've featured, like I say, hundreds of times. I've seen this, the pay-per-view alone, and then this match. This is just incredible. I think this match I've seen more than any other wrestling match that I've ever watched. This is the one I've seen the most of. You know, I've seen this, and it is incredible when you watch it, and just you feel like before the match, no one's really happy about what was happening. You know, backstage, the Undertaker had injury, so did Mankind. You can see Mankind struggling to even get on top of Hell in a Cell at the moment. He was Dude Love challenging for the title, and now he's doing this. And the fans watching it must think, oh my God, what's going to happen here?
Well, Mankind is starting the match on top of the cage.
And he's got the steel chair as well.
And the Undertaker's music hits. Everyone in the crowd stands on their feet.
And I'll tell you what, the commentators do a great job as well, JR and the King, during this match and how they call it. It is so memorable. It's just adds everything to the match as the Undertaker comes out here. And there's a chill in the air. And here comes the Undertaker. And this has got to be my favourite Undertaker. Just the way he's dressed, the way he's looked. Look at the fireworks going off as he's coming out. And the Undertaker coming out here, laser focused. Of course, we've not seen him in action since he set his brother on fire in April. And tonight his brother might be set on fire yet again.
He might set himself on fire.
So Kane's, track record with the Undertaker's around is not great. But Mankind awaits the Undertaker now. As he slowly takes his jacket off. I'm not going to do traditional entrance because Mankind's already on top of the cell.
Was he daring the Undertaker to join him atop the cage?
I think he is, and he's getting ready for it. You're right, JR. It's going to be inhuman tonight. The Undertaker is climbing up the cell. Well, the first Hell in a Cell match was a classic between Shawn Michaels and the Undertaker. And now Mankind's going to cut Undertaker off.
I think he's trying to knock him off the cell already.
Oh my God, the Undertaker's going to fall off.
He's managing to fight his way back so he can get himself on top of the cage as well. Nothing good is going to happen with them both up there.
Well, you can see the cell sagging between the weight of both men. And now chair
cracks it across the back of the Undertaker. That bit's cable tied up.
And a chair to the back of the Undertaker. Oh, Mankind. Look, where did you put that chair? He's positioning it down. Looks like he's going to try and pile drive the Undertaker. Oh, my God. And see, that weren't meant to happen. It went down. They were like, right, we need to kill ourselves. If I was Mankind the Undertaker, I would just be like, look, get off. Let's just go down the side. And now Undertaker fighting back. They're right above us, folks.
That cameraman must be shitting himself.
Undertaker's got Mankind.
He's just thrown Mankind to his death within the first 2 minutes of this bloody match.
Oh, my God. Unbelievable.
And just the way he's landed, his head is under the announce table, his legs are under barricade.
But the announce table, the monitor's in, the commentator's there as well. I mean, look at that. Hugo Savinovich. And JR saying, look, come on, get out now. Well, it might have been the shortest match in history, but my God.
Well, it's a way to start a match with a bang.
It's quite incredible. And the thing is as well, at this point, this is just a replay before I go on. Fucking hell, it's just mental. Whatever camera angle just looks brilliant.
Well, unlike Shane McMahon, there was no boxes set up underneath to cushion his fall. He just had an announce table. And, the Spanish announcers just go scattering like bowling ball pins.
This is the thing, at this time, you had WCW that kind of was the main show, wasn't it, with all those stars. And now people like The Undertaker, Mankind, Nost improving, they're bigger like that.
Terry Funk's out here.
And the
must be serious.
The ECW talent, going extreme and doing extreme stuff. But what's more extreme than Mankind being thrown off Hell in a Cell, Like, when you see that, ECW didn't really have a leg to stand on afterwards. So then all the fans that are watching their programs like, well, this is what the Attitude Era is all about now.
Well, Mankind is removing his mask.
Like I said, Terry Funk down. There's the doctors.
Trainers, EMTs.
King saying, look, help the Spanish guys. They did not see that coming.
Jesus Christ. I can understand it happening towards the end of a match. But one of the first big moves in a match, it's
mental.
It's horrific.
We've never seen anything like it. And even in Have a Nice Day, the book about this, he had to look back at the match to write about what actually happened during it because he couldn't remember anything. He said that the first time he had dull kidney pain after the first fall, but he had landed quite comfortably. So he said it wasn't too bad. He hadn't been knocked out, just the stuff had knocked out of him.
The cage is being lifted with the Undertaker on top of it. Even Vince McMahon's out here.
Exactly, with Sergeant Slaughter as well.
EMTs are bringing a gurney out here now for Mankind.
No, I can't remember when we've seen Mankind, Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, call him what you want, to be stretched out like this.
So is that it? Is the match over?
It's got to be. Or Funk saying to his friend, these were tag team champions at WrestleMania, saying, look, now, enough's enough. And Vince, to his credit, he said to Mankind after this match, never take risks like that again. And that's why Mick Foley changed his kind of style. Because Vince McMahon actually thought like he was dead. So.
I think Mick Foley needs a chance more than The Undertaker.
Well, his left arm might be broken as well. Well, The Undertaker's climbing down near the commentators as the cell has lowered down and they've stopped to work on Mick Foley.
The match could end here and it'd still be one of the best matches.
Yeah, it's one of the most shocking moments. JR apologising, King saying, why apologise? Oh my God.
Foley's back on his feet. He wants to carry on the match.
Oh no, come on, Mankind.
And now he's climbing back to the top. The Undertaker's going back up the top to meet him.
How exciting is that? Are both men going to go meet each other if Mankind can make it up. Funny if he just fell back, but he has made it on top.
Headbutt from Undertaker to the more than likely concussed.
The Undertaker's got Mankind.
He's just chokeslammed him. The roof of the cage has given way. Foley's landed in the middle of the ring. Everyone's going to check on him yet again.
King said that's it, he's dead. There was no bounce at all on that ring.
Of course, son of a, he's broken in half.
And they can look at him, look, he's knocked out cold here. Fans cannot believe it. And the Undertaker looking down and thinking, oh God, that's it. And now he crawls down. Let's look at his wince. Bad foot and all.
He's got a chipped bone in his foot. Foley's barely able to recover. Funk saying, look, he's in pretty bad way.
And now...
Funk's like, look, take it out of me for a bit.
Yes, that's exactly what happened as well. Funk's like that. And the Undertaker does well to actually carry this for the next couple of minutes till Foley actually wakes up. Foley turns round and sees like a pair of sneakers in the ring and goes, what was that?
With Funk being thrown out of the ring by getting chokeslammed.
Out of his shoes. It's the impact. It's a fucking no. Oh my God.
There's just no give in that ring whatsoever. And yet, surprisingly, Foley's back to his feet.
Look at
one
the cell.
Tiny right hand, and Foley's back down again. He's like, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. This is...
It's like, are they my trainers? Did they come out of me?
Yeah. And now he's thinking, I've got something in my mouth, I think. I'll take my nose, I don't know.
Is that where his tongue goes through his fucking lip or something?
His tooth that's gone through his lip, no idea how it happened. There's just a hole there, he's trying to stick his tongue through. Looks like he's smiling. But the Undertaker going up for old school.
Oh, and Foley bounces against the ring ropes, crutching the Undertaker. Now they've been well and truly locked inside the cell.
Well, thrown off the side, thrown through, and now they get locked in.
Oh, fucking
There you go. Looks like he's smiling, and there's a tooth sticking out through his nose. And now Mankind up, running at Undertaker. And he sends Taker into the side of the cell. I think he's busted him open.
Well, the King has confirmed it. Mick Foley, Mankind, he's suffering from internal bleeding.
But he's still up, and he's got the stairs.
No, can't lift it. Undertaker's like, yeah, let me.
Taker showing him how it's done. Picks up the stairs. Stairs into the side of Mankind. And again...
And we praise Finn Balor for managing to continue his match with a dislocated shoulder. It's like, yeah, well, watch this. Yeah, but wrestling's fake. Yeah, but watch this.
Sin Cara stopped a match because he broke a finger. So you just imagine what Mick Foley is feeling right now.
Oh, he's probably not feeling anything. He don't remember any of this at the time.
It's the Undertaker carrying Mankind. I think the Johnny Gargano Award for most punishment taken in a match was started by Mick Foley. Here comes the Undertaker.
Diving through the cage, but I think Mankind collapses. Undertaker goes head first into the side of the cell.
Uh-oh, now the Undertaker bleeding. No, this is too much now. That blood is too much. Yeah.
I feel sorry for the Undertaker, what he's gone through in this match.
Yeah, that's yeah. To cut himself and his foot hurts. Oh, now getting grated into the cell, into the side of the cell.
It's a good job Mankind's wearing brown trousers.
JR's in Pittsburgh and I would agree with him. But somehow, Mankind up. One arm, he's got the chair down.
Oh, seated pile driver to the Undertaker. On that steel chair, rolls an arm across. But only getting a 2 count.
2. Now Mick Foley with the right hands. The blood on his hands is the Undertaker.
Drops the leg across the chair, across the Undertaker's face.
Look how long it takes Mankind to recover. He realises how much pain he's in after doing that. He's like, why did I do that? Goes for the cover, the Undertaker kicks out.
Ah.
And now double arm DDT.
That's normally Mankind's finisher, but he just can't capitalise on it.
Well, King thinks it's his table that's in his nose.
It is his tooth.
And he's got a massive hole in his mouth. That's all thanks to the chair. And now he's got a sack. And how could this match get any more extreme?
Well, thumbtacks. Hundreds and thousands of thumbtacks.
And now he's going to send the Undertaker through the thumbtacks. And the Undertaker teetering after a couple of big right hands. Here comes Mankind.
No, he gets caught by the throat by the Undertaker. Delivers a knee to the midsection. Goes for it again, but runs into a big boot. Comes again.
Oh, goes for the tombstone, but mandible claw. And the Undertaker passing out. And no one's had more victories over the Undertaker with this move. The Undertaker's passing out here. Referee's checking the arm.
One more time. Undertaker's out.
Oh.
No. It doesn't drop. He manages to fight back.
And the Undertaker's got Mankind on his back. Oh, no. Not where the thumbtacks are.
Oh! Drops Foley back first into the thumbtacks.
And he couldn't remember using the thumbtacks either. As the Undertaker is still trying to recover as well. That's
but
sickening.
Some sick, perverse way, Mankind is back to his feet before the Undertaker. But he gets caught round the throat.
Oh, no.
And a choke slam into the thumbtacks as well.
He's throwing him off the cell, through the cell. He's backdropped him and chokeslammed him on those thumbtacks. That is it.
And yet he's still up to his fucking feet.
I don't know what's going to put him away.
Oh, just not on the thumbtacks, though, please.
The Undertaker's got him. Tombstone. And the 3 for the Undertaker. My God. Greatest match ever. The Undertaker versus Mankind. Hell in the Cell.
That was just sickening.
There is not a match that has been that extreme since then. You know, I know we've had barbed wire matches and other things involved, but I mean, just for the sheer brutality of what Mankind took during that, off the Hell in a Cell, through the announce table, through the Hell in a Cell, and then thumbtacks again. He took all the punishment in this one, and it's quite unbelievable. But I think credit to the Undertaker for being able to carry Mankind, and this changed everything, I feel, you know, with Mankind. It was kind of like, look, you deserve now that chance because of what you've just done. Everybody's eyes watching this. This is the most extreme thing ever. It was and no one expected it, you know, and that's what's best about it. It just come kind of as a surprise. It was fantastic, wasn't it, you know?
It was, yeah, there's no words to describe this match. It is, was, and ever will be. Just, you know, if someone ever says to you, wrestling fate, have a look at this match, show them this match, and then show them the aftermath of Mick Foley's injuries from this, and ask him, or, you know, or just look at what he can remember from this match.
Yeah.
Because, you know, to gauge what happened in this match, he's had to watch it again, and, you know, seeing him going through that match made my stomach turn. I don't know what he feels watching himself go through this match.
Or his kids feel getting thrown off and through Hell in a Cell, you know. It's and like we say, lots has been talked about it, but 20 years to the day since it happened, and we haven't had a moment, like we say, since then, have we?
I don't think we ever will.
Hopefully not. I mean,
you know, we have seen some impressive moments, but nothing is, and they're going to show it again. Why? The first 90 seconds of the match, Foley goes through an announce table. The next big move, chokeslam through the fucking cage, and take him probably one of the most hellacious bumps ever.
And the chair hitting him in the face.
Yeah. And then he gets chokeslammed into a pile of thumbtacks, backdropped onto a pile of thumbtacks, and then tombstone pile drived. And that is why they call it Hell in a Cell. He doesn't even want to be stretchered out of there. He wants to leave under his own free will.
That is crazy. How the hell is he able to do that? After everything he took, and he's meant to be the bad guy in this.
They're pulling the thumbtacks out of his arms. And Funk, he's probably telling Foley, you know, look, why'd you start on top of the cage for?
Yeah.
Why'd you start on top of the cell?
I was fucking joking.
Yeah.
What the fuck? That is crazy. And he gets a round of applause, and yeah, it's my favourite match, I think, of all time as well. Wow. And I tell you what, Steve Austin and Kane have to follow that.
There's no filler match.
No, it is that. That is ungodly. And that throw off the cell. That's a human being. It's just pricked him.
King just gave JR a prick. He's like, ow, that hurts.
Yeah.
Whilst talking about Foley getting thrown off the top of the cell. And he's like, yeah, that hurts.
Well, up next is Austin versus Kane, but Austin worked the main event after a bout with staph infection. The number of stories involving Steve Austin working in the midst of a serious injury or illness is as long as his list of championships. The 1998 King of the Ring was no different, with Stone Cold still on the mend after battling staph infection. The illness caused Austin to be hospitalised for 3 days prior to the pay-per-view, and it was clear in the parts of the match that his energy level wasn't at its most optimum. The first blood match with Kane for the WWE Championship, which Kane would have set himself on fire if he lost, an enjoyable match, especially as it finished with a bit of a shock to those expecting a long Austin reign.
Well, Austin actually bled earlier in the match. You know the rules of a first blood match. First man to bleed their own blood loses the match. Couldn't be simpler. Austin was due to lose the championship to Kane, but not before the Undertaker and a somehow still conscious Mankind inserted themselves into the closing moments, where Undertaker would accidentally whack Austin with a chair. Earlier on in the brawl, Austin sustained a cut on his back, but rather a minor one. In theory, this would have been grounds for ending the bout, but a convenient bit of precise wording worked to their advantage. Earlier in the night, on the pre-show, referee Earl Hebner did an interview where he declared he would not stop the fight for a minor cut or broken nose or anything else short of a true gusher. Lucky break on their part.
Raw set a new ratings record the following night. The buzz over both Mick Foley's brush with death and Kane becoming WWE champion was enough to give a surging Roy's War a hefty victory over WCW Nitro in the following evening. When the dust settled after the June 29th head-to-head Raw, with Austin regaining the belt from Kane, it pulled in a 5.36 rating to Nitro's 4.5. The final quarter hour of Austin toppling Kane drew in a near 5.98 rating.
Two major notes here. One, Raw's 3-minute overrun of Nitro went off the air. Two major notes here. Major notes. One, Raw's 3-minute overrun after Nitro went off the air drew a staggering 6.9 rating, with more than 5 million American households tuning in to see the title switch. Secondly, the 5.36 rating was Raw's highest ever when opposed by Nitro. As the year wore on, the numbers for WWE would only increase and the ratings gap would only widen.
Yeah, so there you go. But it's the promo now for Steve Austin versus Kane. So we'll catch up with all the kind of the real nitty-gritty of this next month with the WWE versus WCW. But if we look at it now, Kane beat The Undertaker to be number one contender, and these two have confronted him thanks to Mick Foley's help as well. Seem like they're teaming up now against Stone Cold, but he wants to hold on to his championship. And is Kane just a roadblock? Will he set himself on fire? Will we have a new WWE champion? We see Steve Austin covered in blood, and that's what Kane did on Monday Night Raw again.
Pointed things to The Undertaker. Look, you want to be the number one contender. You deserve to be the number one contender. Let's see what happens when you have to face your brother, Kane. The Undertaker and Kane, and the winner's going to be the number one contender to Rattlesnake's title. And the rest of the first team by the behind. Will that be enough? 1, 2, Kane now the number one contender. A deeper, darker, more confusing plot was aimed at the Rattlesnake. Goes through it. That's the setup. Until the Undertaker coming out to make yet another challenge for Stone Cold. They place that casket out here at the edge of the ring. Mankind after the ring. Mankind was shooting wall. And then a Kane and Mankind with the number of Stone Cold. Here comes the light of Stone Cold Steve Austin right here. This is the celebration there. Kane and Mankind. Let's go for the number one in the casket. It's Stone Cold coming. It's Kane. 1 week later, in the specter of the ominous Hell in a Cell, Austin unleashes rage in pure 316 fashion. King challenges you, Austin, to a match in which, clearly, the winner will be the man who draws first blood on his opponent. What does he mean?
I say this, I'll accept any kind of match you want to throw a Stone Cold Steve Austin. I did not win the title. I will set myself on fire. You care about I'll sit around and watch you on all day long. You'll do it. And if you stop to go out, you can rest assured that old Stone's going to be right there to throw another logo in the fire.
A first blood match.
I've bled before. I ain't afraid to bleed again.
This guy is your destiny.
But when you put this son of a bitch on the line, it means your big dead ass belongs to Stone Cold Steve Austin.
What the fuck? Austin is covered. What is that? He just said this over the blood on you will be for
Well, here comes Kane, number one contender with Paul Bearer. And will tonight be his night? And already I can see he's not sleeveless. He's got two sleeves. Maybe that's how's he going to be busted open if he can't be cut? He's got no open.
Well, he may be. He may thought, there's no rule saying you can't have your entire body covered.
Oh no. Well, maybe Austin will have to tear some fabric, or maybe just cut the hand off or something like that. You see all the gasoline at ringside as well, ready for Kane to be set on fire. Chance of Austin waiting for him.
Look at that padding he's got on his elbow.
Oh, no.
That's due to the staph infection.
But he's still the WWE champion, like I say, won at WrestleMania 14, so he's held it now for 3 months ago, right after Kane.
Running the ropes, Lou Fez press, wailing away with the right hands to the face, trying to draw some blood.
Oh my God. He started on fire, baby, but Kane sits up.
Bang, title shot to the head.
Well, Kane
busted open a normal man, but Kane is no normal man.
Well, Kane wanted the title shot and he got one there, but Lamar's protecting his face, and now Austin undoing the turnbuckle. And Austin rocking Kane with the right hand. Tries to send him into the turn blocks. Of course, he's got the strength advantage, and now he's trying to send Austin in.
And Kane, 3 big right hands, dropping Austin every time he gets up to his feet.
And now Kane choking Stone Cold. A huge Austin chance.
He's got his left hand exposed in his neck area.
Yeah, I suppose so. And Austin fires back. Huge clotheslines, but don't knock Kane down. Just stumbles him back a little bit.
Kane got Austin up, looking for a tombstone.
Oh my God, but Austin blocking.
Austin's fighting out, throws Kane out of the ring, eliminates him from the Rumble. But again, Kane following up with a leg sweep, dragging Austin to the outside. But Austin blocking Kane's attempted shot with some big rights of his own. Face first into the steel steps.
Well, the punishment Kane we have seen as he sends in the stairs, and it doesn't really faze him. There was that ability to land on his feet as well, like a cat. But now Austin's got Kane, rocks him with the right hand, and wait a minute.
Why is the cage that we've already had a cage match?
Why is it? And why are we not getting any ominous cage music if it is? Where's Paul Bearer? Do you know he's right next to Kane? Kane takes him back in. Ooh.
Throws Austin into the steel stairs. If Austin don't move, that cage is going to come down right on top of him.
They're going to decapitate him. Maybe that's the plan. But Austin fighting back.
Austin into the cage.
And we've already seen a horrible Hell in a Cell match, and now Austin's going to be crushed. Oh my God, it's going to come down right on his neck. Austin's got him there.
Austin's going to be killed. He's managing to hold the 3-ton structure up.
Miss McMahon, surely.
Don't call me Shirley, but it does seem to be that way. That
Got to be. I mean, he's got to control what happens there. That's Kane now choking out Austin. And this is turning into Hell in a Cell first blood match. Kane sets himself on fire if he loses.
Oh my God, there's absolutely no escape unless they go through the door. Austin's bleeding.
Yeah, well, Hebner's not going to stop it for a bloody nose.
That was lucky then.
Or a cut on the back. And now Austin gets sent into the Hell in a Cell again. Sent into the stairs again by Kane.
Well, apart from the little flurry earlier on, Kane has been in... apart from the little flurry earlier on from Austin, Kane has been in control for the majority of this match.
And Austin in serious trouble. Paul Bearer doesn't have to do anything. Oh!
Austin managing to turn it around, throwing Kane face first into the side of the cage. And now it's being lifted up, and Kane is in no man's land.
Well, he's tilting on the Hell in a Cell. And what is going on here?
Who's controlling the damn cage?
And Kane, though, managing to choke Austin, even though he's going away. He must be at least 10 foot in the air now.
At least 15, 20 feet.
Oh, my God.
And he collapses to the wafer-thin mats below.
And, we say Mankind's big bump. You know what I mean? My God.
Just hellacious.
Well, JR, that would be significant if you had it, wouldn't you? If you think a little pinprick. Imagine if you had a cut in your back. Trainers, EMTs, referees down.
I don't know how Austin can continue with that little snow.
We thought the Undertaker, Mankind. I mean, these two men here.
They've been through hell.
And now Austin's going to try pile drive Kane on a concrete.
But Kane with the backdrop and Austin again taking a hellacious bump. We've not seen anything like that ever.
Oh, there's Mr. McMahon, and there's a headset next to him. I think he might be in control. You see Sable sitting diligently sitting next to Mr. McMahon. Austin sent him to barricade. Referees check and make sure Austin ain't been busted open.
But Kane could be busted open.
He might not know. He might be. That's why he's wearing a red. It's a good outfit to wear red, isn't it?
He's wearing red and he's covering his whole body.
And Austin going to try and suplex Kane. Again, I don't think that's a great idea. And he gets reversed. No, Austin blocks it. No, he doesn't. Kane suplex Austin on the rampway. Kane sets up.
Now these guys are fighting all over the arena. Kane's picking up a bit of barricade. Oh, of Austin.
That could have busted him there. I think Austin is safer, even though it might think he feels this is his environment, back in the ring, because Kane's been on top of him. But man's desperate for Kane to get the job done.
Fucking, I can even see what's going on from up there. So if McMahon can't control or contain Austin, what chance has he got with containing Kane?
Well, that's good. Maybe Paul Bearer can do a better job, and if McMahon can manipulate Bearer, as we've seen him do to others in the past, maybe it's that way. But like I said, Kane is a monster, and now he's getting sent into that exposed turnbuckle. They're back in the ring now.
Well, he's gone into it twice, maybe 3 times, and he's still not staggering off his feet, which is a feat in itself.
And now Austin hanging Kane up on that second rope. Just trying to wear him down.
Running the ropes. Oh, and hanging him throat first up again.
JR say maybe Austin could just rip the mask off, go to work. Work the burns. Make the burns bleed. Would be a good way to get rid of a wrestler. Like a retirement match, you have to set yourself on fire if you lose. I would definitely have Mojo Rawley involved in that.
Mojo versus Enzo, and it goes to no contest, so they both have to burn themselves. And I've just noticed that Mr. Bright Pink Shirt, Baldy Head Man, and his wife with the green luminous shirts in the crowd as well.
Oh, and they're fans. And talking of fans, also just hit Kane with a fan. And then just hitting away the right hands, but this is not working. I think he needs to find an implement. Uh-oh.
Wow, Kane's just thrown Austin into senior referee Earl Hebner, and both have gone careening into that barricade.
Now Kane's got Austin, throws him in. And Kane going all the way to the top. And the Hell in a Cell's at halfway down. No referee.
Oh, Kane close on in Austin as he was perched on that top turnbuckle. My man perched up in that skybox. Hoping, wishing, pleading for a new heavyweight champion.
Kane off the top, but Austin had it scouted, dodged out of the way.
Yeah, managed to sidestep it this time. Jumping away at the throat of Kane.
Head first into exposed turnbuckle, but again, not really doing anything. And Austin turning it up now.
He's stomping a mud hole and he's walking it dry. And now back first into that exposed turnbuckle a couple of times.
And now the back of the head. That might be a good idea if you could bust him open the back of the head.
Yes, but isn't he wearing a wig?
Oh my God.
How the hell is he still even fucking walking? Is he concussed? Does he still think he's in a match?
Oh, and he gets caught with the right hand. Mankind's had so little offense here tonight. But Mankind's still got the chair. Austin blocks him again.
And he gets a stunner. That's the worst punishment Mankind has taken all night.
Uh-oh, Kane's got Austin with a choke slam.
Oh, but Austin with a low blow hits Kane with a stunner.
And the Undertaker's coming out here to maybe even the odds.
He's wearing a T-shirt and he's limping visibly. Undertaker in a T-shirt? That looks really weird.
He's coming out here now. They're going to hit Mankind. Austin is as well. Oh!
Looking for a concerto.
Mankind dodged. Undertaker hit Austin. The chair bounced back in his face. The Undertaker takes Kane and Mankind out.
And the cage has lowered.
So now the Undertaker going to get the referee. Oh my God.
So Austin's busted open. It only takes one look from the ref to see that, and he's going to award Kane the victory.
And the Undertaker throwing the referee, and now he's got the gasoline. And he's pouring it on Earl Hebner.
What's Earl Hebner done?
Well, maybe he's trying to wake him up, but Kane just hit the Undertaker from behind. Why would he try and wake him up for? Kane's got the chair now on Austin.
Poke to the eye.
Well, he's busted open, but referee can't see it yet.
Clotheslines Kane down.
Now Austin desperately trying to give up the chair. Oh!
Hellacious shot across the head from Austin to Kane.
It dented the chair. Now Oscar try again.
Earl Hebner's signalling for the bell. Austin's like, I'm not even fucking bleeding. It's just a little scratch, just like the one on my back.
What are you talking about?
I'm not wearing a crimson mask. And new World Wrestling Federation champion, Kane.
What a shock that is. Austin is no longer champion. You can see the tears in his eyes.
Can you? I just see blood.
I can see blood and tears in his eyes. Blood,
what about sweat?
I can see blood. Hang on a minute, I'll start again. With Austin, I can see blood, sweat and tears in his ass.
And McMahon is smirking.
No, he's not, Dan. He's just very happy that Kane is the new WWF champion, and we end it there. I mean, my God. What an end. What a great last two matches, but unfortunately, let's talk about the first few matches. So...
Was there first few matches? I only remember two matches.
Yeah,
well, three, actually.
Yeah. Alright, so first match, Kane Tai versus the Headbangers and Taker. I'll start this off. I said 2.5, not a bad opener.
I said that was 3. It was not bad. It wasn't anything great. There was a few good little moments in it, but, you know, it was it was what it was.
Final, Ken Shamrock versus Double J.
Well, that was a slight improvement on the last match. I gave that 3.5 out of 5. You know, these two guys worked together. You could see there was a bit of animosity between the two. And again, you know, it wasn't a terrible match.
I gave that 2 out of 5. It was a quick finish and I really didn't like it. Match 3 was Rock versus Dan Severn. 2 out of 5. Boring, I put as well.
I gave that a 2 and I just said that was bad.
Too Cool versus Al Snow. Too Much versus Al Snow and Head. I thought silly finish. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was nothing more than a gimmick match. I also gave that a 2.
Yeah, I gave that a 2 as well. X-Pac versus Owen Hart.
I thought that was quite a technical match, and you know, it was an improvement certainly on the previous 4, and I gave that a 4.
4 fucking hell. I gave it 3.5 out of 5. New Age Outlaws versus Bob and Ben. 5. I think it was standard. Nothing really wrong with that match.
Yeah, I gave that a 3 out of 5 as well. Not bad again.
Shamrock versus Rock. Again, Shamrock versus Rock, not bad. 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I've just got not bad as well. 3 out of 5. It wasn't a terrible match. We've seen Shamrock the Rock a few times. I think Triple H made it quite entertaining, being uncommons as well. So yeah,
all good. And then, of course, the Taker versus Mankind Hell in a Cell match.
I gave that a 5+. Yeah, I think it was just a sick match. There was only about 10 moves in the whole match, but it was just like, what the fuck was going on, and what the fuck was going through Foley's head. And even I've seen that throw off the top of Hell in a Cell. I probably saw it about 20 times in replays during the match. And every single time, it still makes me fucking wince.
Yeah. That is exactly what I was going to say as well. The fact is that no matter how many times you watch it, it still has the same impact as it did first time round. It's just one of the most awesome moments in wrestling. And then the main event I thought was quite enjoyable.
What did you give it?
5 out of 5. Yeah, that's 5. Main event, I thought that was quite enjoyable actually. A bit brawling around, but I think the finish was entertaining. They kind of spiced up. What's going to happen now in the future. Now, it asks a lot of questions. Gave that a 4 out of 5, the main event.
I gave that a 4.5 out of 5. I thought it was entertaining, and I think that extra half was just for how the fuck Mankind managed to walk his way out. And, Undertaker coming out as well. It was marred in controversy, seeing as though it was the Undertaker that caused the first blood on Kane, and Kane's way round it by wearing a full body outfit as well. It was just a few technicalities in there, but yeah, it was a very interesting match.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. So then, rating for the overall event, I think I'm going to have to give this a good score because of the last 2 matches. The rest of it were quite bad, really. I mean, no, 4 out of 9 were acceptable for me. So I'm still going to give it an 8.5 out of 10 just because of the Hell in a Cell match. If it was just a Hell in a Cell match, obviously it would be a 10 out of 10. But you have to mark it down for the other ones first. I would suggest you skip the first 4 matches, and then after, and then the pay-per-view's 8.5 for me.
Yeah. I think I'd agree with you, 8.5. It wasn't great at the start, but again, it warms up. If everything was on fire, it probably wouldn't have looked that good towards the end. You'd have worn yourself out. So a slow build. But the 2 semi-final King of the Ring matches, you could just skip over them.
Yeah.
The 2 match versus Al Snow and Head, that was just silly and a gimmicky type match. But, you watch the first match, the 6-man tag match, that weren't a bad match. Then go on to the 5th match, X-Pac versus Owen Hart, that was all right. The tag team title match, again, it wasn't bad. And then, the Rock Shamrock, it's a good little warm-up for what follows it, basically.
Yeah, no, I think most definitely. So that is it for this episode. Like I say, we'll give you for WWE versus WCW in July, and our next episode, fuck knows what our next episode will be. Anyway, so that's it. If you want to follow us, you can on Twitter at WWE Network Review or
at Vince McDan WWE.
I'm J. Oh, fuck me, I don't even know what I am. I'm at J_Rowlands. Across all the Google platforms, WWE Network Review on Google+, send us an email at dublinarpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Facebook.
Facebook, yes, you can come and find our page and give us a like with the WWE cast. You can come and find me and add me as a friend. I am Vince McDan.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, WWE Network Review Podcast. Clips going up there. Podcasts go up the same time to do other places like SoundCloud.
On your phone.
Follow Diddley, our music maker. Spreaker Radio, where we got our live show. Stitcher Radio, and of course iTunes, where you can download, subscribe, rate, and review there. But that is it. As always, I was joined by
Dan White.
Thanks for listening, everybody, and bye.
Bye.